Hello everyone, how's it all going? As 2024 finally comes to a close, Halo Studios has hinted at some future content coming to Halo Infinite. Today, we're going to go through all of it, as well as some stuff I didn't expect, and some things that really bugged me about this whole situation, but more on that in a second. It's no secret that Forges have carried this year in terms of content. We've had numerous playlist refreshes, events, updates to 4v4, BTB, Squad Battle, Infection, the list goes on. In saying that, the paragraph reads in the latest blog post, we're always on the lookout for new and exciting Forge content created by the community, and as we head into 2025, next year is no different. While we're always keeping our eyes peeled for new Husky Raid, Arena, and BTB maps, here is a list of other interesting directions that we would be excited to hear about. If you know of one or have built one, feel free to use the corresponding 343 ask tag in-game to get them on our radar. So first up, it's safe to say that next year we'll be getting map refreshes for Husky Raid, 4v4, Arena, and so on, just like this year. But also, and here's where it gets interesting, a whole bunch of niche experiences are also on the radar for the devs. Here's what's on the list. First up is Halo 5 themed PvP and PvE experiences. Now, Halo 5 Guardians turns 10 years old in 2025, and it seems like the developers want to celebrate the occasion. You could easily create Halo 5 Slayer with unlimited thruster equipment on Halo 5 maps. I honestly wish Halo 5 on PC released for the 10-year anniversary, but I'm dreaming. For anyone who always asks me about Halo 5 on PC, I don't see it ever happening. Nevertheless, Halo 5 PvP and PvE is a request they've made. The PvE must be like Halo 5-esque Firefight. We'll see when it comes out. To be truthfully honest with you guys, it still doesn't sit right with me that the Forges pretty much carried all of the new content this year. Like 95% of the stuff that did come out was from the Forges. They put thousands of hours of work into creating all of the maps, modes, and all of the new playlists we played on. We owe them so much for all of the new stuff we've played this year. In saying that, and it's a sentiment I've echoed for a while now, if Forges are creating maps that directly correlate with higher playtime, equaling more shop purchases to fund future projects, then the Forges on Halo deserve a cut. Now, I actually got comments that said, well, Remy, forging stuff is free. They shouldn't expect to be compensated for their time. Well, I disagree. I think that's how you maintain talent and keep them invested when it's such a huge time sink to create new maps. People are getting older, they have bills to pay, and in the real world, more and more Forges are moving on because there's just no reason for them to continue making maps. A good example is Infinite Forges. The man made Refuge and Damnation, as well as collaborated on a bunch of maps. There's no incentive on Halo to stay, so now he's working on Borderlands 4, and he's even going to create maps on Fortnite for the brand new tactical shooter game mode because Fortnite does pay their map creators. I strongly believe paying Halo Forges is one thing Halo Studios really needs to look at going forward. Next up, we have linear PvE, so I'm assuming almost like a campaign mission. Halo Studios wants academy-themed linear PvE, as well as a separate dot point that says just linear PvE, as well as linear spooky experiences. Now, PvE is a massive part of Halo. Also, look at the success of Helldivers. Halo could totally capitalize on this, and it's an area that has a lot of untapped potential. It's no surprise they're looking for new PvE experiences. The emphasis on linear is interesting, however, as it indicates they specifically want players to progress through a space, completing objectives, instead of wave survival type modes. As a little side note, and this is very much modern gaming, with the latest update to Halo Infinite, Forgers could not get into Forge for over 4 days. There was Forgers who were almost locked out of the mode for a week. Why? Because the mode is permanently online. Why Forge is permanently online, I'm never going to understand. It should be a local mode. You should be able to save the map locally. What happens when the Halo Infinite servers go down forever? Is that just it? No more Forge ever? It just doesn't make sense to me. There's a bug at the moment stopping people from getting into games, and since you actually have to load a server to get into Forge, they also couldn't get into Forge. Now, keeping with the 343 era content, next on the list is Halo 4 maps and content. If you have a Halo 4 themed map, Halo Studios wants to see it. My top request for this would be to remake the map Haven. The fan favorite and most iconic map of the game should be in matchmaking in my opinion, and I would love to see this. Speaking of Forge maps in rotation as well, and if you love Fiesta, every single Forge map, and there was like 10 to 15 of them, have all been removed from Fiesta and Super Fiesta on Halo Infinite. If you can't find Fiesta, by the way, it's in Quick Play. I was surprised to see only developer-made maps selected for Quick Play. I know the map weightings, which is how often a map comes up, was really messed up before, and it only gave a handful of Forge maps, which is very odd. Now they're all gone, so make of that what you will. In any case, Halo Studios wants to see Halo 4 content. There's a whole bunch of 4v4 maps that players would love if they were created for the game. In terms of game modes, however, there's two that come to mind that people would love. One is Ricochet, where you grab the ball and you can throw it into the goal to score. It's probably my favorite mode from Halo 4, and it would be very easy to make in Forge, so that would make a great addition. Two would be Dominion. I always thought it was a neat concept where you capture bases, upgrade the bases to provide vehicles, weapons, and turrets. And then, if you capture all 3 bases, it's a final stand for the enemy. Wipe them out, and you instantly win. In saying that, if there is a specific piece of Halo 4 content you want to see, leave me a comment down below. Finally today, and we get to the big ticket item that Halo Studios wants, Invasion. That's right, the game mode from Halo Reach. They want Invasion maps, modes, experiences. My first thought when I saw this was, oh my god, playable elites, no way! As obviously Invasion was Spartan versus elites. I highly doubt we would ever get playable elites on Halo Infinite. In saying that, there is 2 versions of Invasion. One, where the team will slowly try to progress through the map to capture objectives. After each set of objectives is progressively captured, more weapons, vehicles, and loadouts become available for the player to use, and then the final objective is to steal a core and deliver it to a capture point to win. There's also Invasion Slayer, but I think that's even more dependent on Spartan vs Elites, as it was almost UNSC vs Covenant weaponry and vehicle combat. You also have to keep in mind there is no Banished Precision Battle Rifle or DMR weapon unless they finally add the carbine. Very interesting to hear they asked for Invasion, so watch this space. Now, while we are on the topic of Invasion, and with the developers wanting to see Halo 5 content specifically, Forgers are creating Halo 5 Warzone. Like, the actual game mode from Halo 5 is being made in Halo Infinite Forge. Ocom and his friends have been working on this for what feels like a year, and within the confines of Halo Infinite Forge, they're working to create a faithful recreation of the playlist from Halo 5. As soon as it's publicly available, I'll do a dedicated video on this, but it's definitely worth mentioning. And that's it. That's everything Halo Studios has asked from the community that they want to implement for niche experiences in the year 2025. Of course, we'll get the developer-made content too, so fingers crossed for new vehicles, weapons, and maps. It's my hope that with the addition of the MA5K SMG, we'll see a steady release of new developer content made throughout the year. We'll definitely know what's happening once the new update drops January or February. Before I go to Halo Studios, I just want to state again, please consider reimbursing Forgers for their time, especially if they're creating a majority of the new content and carrying the game. I feel like they deserve a lot more than just one armor coating, but that's just me. With all that said, thank you guys for watching. If there is a piece of Halo content you could add into Halo Infinite, what would it be and why? Leave me a comment down below. I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you guys later.